Assalamu alaikum, dear brother, and thank you for placing your trust in our ability to propose a solution to your current situation. Before you consider yourself ready for marriage, I'd like you to self-evaluate yourself and see if you have the characteristics that you hope to find in your future spouse. Marriage is a very important lifelong commitment, and in my opinion, time should be spent trying to fix, improve, and better yourself prior to everything else. For example, are you a punctual person? Are you regular in your prayers? Remember, marriage is half your deen, but you still must work on your half to ensure that when you do get married, you build a strong connection between each other by personally developing strong connections with Allah. Therefore, you are right that you need to develop yourself as a person before you think about marriage. And you also need to think about what responsibilities will be there for you when you become a future husband, inshallah. You mentioned that you have some addiction problems. Because you did not provide details as to what kind of addiction problems you're facing, I can't really provide any guidance in that concern. But I would sincerely suggest that you visit professionals and come off your addiction as soon as possible. Not only will your marriage be not only will your marriage have underlying problems, but your life in general will not run smoothly with problems such as addictions. Next, personally, I don't believe there's any problem in being a student and thinking about marriage. In fact, I think it's the earlier the better. However, it can depend on the circumstances. You need to ensure that you or your parents are able to support your wife while you complete your education and can find a job later on. Because after all, it is your responsibility to financially support for her. Therefore, if you live with your parents, you must get their confirmation and agreement because while you complete your studies, they will be the ultimate providers. If you feel that your parents are not going to be accepting of your decision to get married early, you need to enlighten them with Quranic facts. Parents are not really aware of the society in which their children live and the things they're exposed to every day. So you must tell them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself mentioned that getting married earlier is better than delaying it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and marry the unmarried amongst you and the righteous amongst your male slaves and female slaves. If they should be poor, Allah will enrich them from His bounty. And Allah is all encompassing and knowing. It said it is said this in Quran chapter 24 and verse 32. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explicitly states that through marriage He will enrich the spouses. Therefore, tell your parents that they should not think that by delaying marriage until you complete your education or find a job, you will be able to live a rich and a happy life. Marriage is a desired act in Islam as it is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explicitly mentions the benefits of marriage in the Quran Himself. Remind your parents that marriage should not be delayed if you have found the right person and marriage takes precedence over everything else in life. Also, you mentioned that your parents said you're not ready. What exactly do they mean? Have you ever talked to them to ask about it? So I would suggest you talk to them and ask them about what it is that they are finding missing in you so that you may work on making yourself better and therefore ready. The Prophet ﷺ did advise Ali radiallahu anha that Ali three things should not be delayed. Salat when it's the proper time, a funeral when a body is present, and the marriage of a person when there is an equal for her. If you're interested in marriage and you're not sure where to find somebody, you need to get your parents involved. They are your biggest resource. Perhaps you can also talk to your local imam and talk to your friends or your community members or relatives. It is possible that others have approached them with similar intentions and similar problems. I would also like to advise you to not think too much about marriage at this point. Marriage is a blessing from Allah and it has its destined time and it is not in your control. What is in your control is your present. Spend the time listening to lectures about marriage. Marriage is not as easy as it seems. You need to input effort to ensure that it runs smoothly and that it is successful. Before you think about marriage, you need to think about making yourself a better person because, dear brother, marriage is not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lead a life that will make your akhirah easy, the afterlife easy, and a life that will be financially and religiously beneficial for you and for others. However, if you are really seeking marriage and it is your ultimate desire, then you should make lots of dua, seek forgiveness for your sins, and become regular in your acts of worship. Seeking forgiveness for your sins doesn't necessarily entail that you have sinned or that you're a sinner, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, everything in your life will become easy. In addition, if you're serious about getting married early, you should pray tahajjud on a regular basis because the dua which is made at tahajjud is sure to be accepted, inshallah. I hope my answer provided the guidance that you were looking for, and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitates your desire to get married as soon as possible with the right person, inshallah. Thank you.